Alien abduction. Dr. David Jacobs, a history professor at Temple University, has studied this phenomenon for nearly 40 years. And now he believes one of his case studies might provide proof that alien abduction is real. The evidence? Several pieces of stained, discolored fabric.
One of the problems that we see, of course, with an increased frequency is sleep deprivation.
What you're seeing is a support group, but not a normal one. This is a support group for alien abductees.
I know now what all these strange things that were happening to me all my life. I see on occasion people, and these are odd species of people.
I woke up with a hole in my eye, no pain, and you could see a stream of blood coming out of the hole. I feel this is the future, and we've already been taken over. We just don't know it.
My life is nothing like what it used to be. I have such an understanding of this phenomenon. I've had these experiences since I was a child, and I'm not imagining this. Not at all.
People don't quite realize how strange this phenomenon is. Not strange in terms of science fiction strange, but strange in terms of the events that happen to people. People come back from these abduction events with unusual marks and scars on their body. They come back wearing their clothes askew or wearing somebody else's clothes, for example. There's all sorts of other physical after effects that go along with this.
One of the abductees Dr. Jacobs has worked with the longest is a woman we will call Allison Reed.
When it comes to the abduction phenomenon, there's nothing that resembles a coincidence about it. There is a plan, there is, a reason. We just don't know it.
It's from Allison that Dr. Jacobs received the evidence of clothing bearing the strange, unexplained stains.
Problems in the discussion.
I was trying so hard to not just find out where the stuff came from, but find out what it was used for. Yet at the same time, I didn't want to deal with it because then you have to deal with the fact that you're experiencing something odd and unusual. And so that's never a comfortable feeling.
For years, Allison kept her history of abduction experiences a secret from everyone, even her family. That changed one night in 1990 when her 6-year-old son awoke from a frightening ordeal.
My son came running into my room screaming, frantic. He was trying to tell me, Mommy, these people were in my room and I couldn't move and they wouldn't leave me alone. I couldn't make sense of what he was saying and he couldn't put his thoughts together. He was all frantic. And so I said to him, okay, slow down. Somebody was in your room last night. Draw me a picture of these people that were in your room. And he drew me this picture, very elaborate picture of 2 great beings, one tall and one being smaller. I nearly freaked when I saw it because this is what was in his room.
It turns out Allison's son wasn't the only one having close encounters. So was her 4-year-old daughter.
My little girl, when she was 4, I took her to the eye doctor for her first eye appointment. Sat her in the chair, and when they started to pull the thing close to look to her eyes, she freaked out. Screamed, kicked, top of her lungs, and the doctor pulled the machine away, and she jumped off the chair, and she's, Mommy, it makes me think of the aliens, Mommy, don't make me.
Alarmed, Allison searched for an expert in the field of UFO phenomena. She found Dr. David Jacobs.
This is the same day also?
Yes.
He would be the first person she ever told about her own abduction experiences.
Much of a mouth here.
But it's happened to me and continued to happen to me since the age of 5. I don't know why me. I don't know why my family before me or my children after me. I've been abducted by aliens at least 80 times, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And at the same time, saw spinning green lights. She recalls them in the room.
Oh, that's what that is. I see, because it looks more like eyes.
Right.
Allison is very, very, very careful to be as honest as she can be at all times. She does not like this phenomenon. She wishes she weren't part of it. She wishes she could protect her children from it. And most abductees are like that. As I speak, you'll find yourself kind of letting go of the thoughts of what's happening around you and just concentrating on my voice.
Dr. Jacobs has found that hypnotic regression is an effective tool for unlocking the memories that many abductees bury deep inside.
Begin to respond.
Allison has undergone more than 40 sessions.
Really nice and really pleasant, and I'll count from 10 to 1 now, and you'll find yourself going to that really deep state of relaxation.
When you're in regression, looking back on it, you feel the anger because you can then. And you feel the sadness, you feel the helplessness. So it's very traumatic emotionally.
What happens next then?
Well, I feel instinctively drawn to the light. And I walk to it.
I've done, I'd say, somewhere between 850 and 900 regressions. And most abductees say essentially the same thing.
I feel like I'm drugged and I'm just at their mercy.
They're taken on board an object, their clothes are removed, they're placed on a table, there's a series of mental, physical, and reproductive procedures that are administered to them.
Allison and Dr. Jacobs believe her abduction experiences account for the rash of unexplained injuries she has suffered over the past 10 years.
And he makes me feel real calm.
Allison has had a series of medical incidents that have occurred directly related to the abduction phenomenon. She has woken up with broken ribs, swollen jaw, a broken tooth. This has happened to her, and we have it medically documented, of course. I want to ask you some questions about an event.
With the discovery of the unusual stains, the documentation extended to Allison's children.
Stains on them.
On August 6th, 1994, Allison's son was spending the night at a friend's house. Allison was home with her young daughter, who had a friend sleeping over. The two little girls fell asleep around 10 p.m. When they awoke in the morning, Allison was puzzled by what she found.
I noticed this pink stuff splattered all over the sheets. And my initial thought was, oh, kids were eating in bed again, drinking, whatever. But I saw no signs of food. I looked around. There was no makeup they were playing with. I even went down to the refrigerator. We had orange juice, we had milk. We didn't have anything pink or red.
Even more disturbing was the discovery Allison made when her son returned from his sleepover.
I was picking up after him, and when I picked up his underwear, I noticed this pink substance on his as well. And that's when it really hit me, and it took my breath, because he wasn't even in the same house as us.
After Allison came forward with the stains from her son and daughter, another person who lived about an hour away also called me up with pink stains on his undershirt at approximately the same time. So this is the first one. This is this kind of odd stain here.
According to Jacobs, the staining is not uncommon in alien abductions. He believes it has something to do with the medical-like procedures many abductees describe.
Yeah, that's it. That's that orange.
In Allison's case, Jacobs was especially intrigued by the startling coincidence that identical stains would appear at the same time, but in different households, 25 miles apart.
You gotta remember, the guy with the undershirt has no relation to this family at all.
People were skeptical, and I understand where they would find this difficult to believe. I find it difficult to believe. If it weren't for so many things that I can't explain, I would actually think I was going crazy.
Dr. Jacobs has given proof-positive swatches from the 4 stained items in this case. 3 from Allison Reed, and 1 from the man who lived 25 miles away. This evidence was turned over to Dr. Arun Kumar at SEAL Laboratories in California. He will analyze the chemical composition of the brightly colored stains to determine if they are earthbound or otherworldly.
We do find certain peaks, and they are exactly the same on all 4 samples. We will concentrate on those areas to get the chemical composition of the pink material.
What will the tests reveal? Will this case be judged proof positive? The answer at the end of the hour. Next, a retired fire chief believes he is the reincarnation of a Civil War general. Will his story stand up to a lie detector test? Until the spring of 1991, there was nothing unusual about Jeffrey Keene's life. Then, a remarkable series of events led him to believe he'd had a past life as Civil War General John B. Gordon. The evidence? several unexplained scars and facial marks, and a compelling eyewitness account. In May 1991, Jeffrey Keane and his wife Anna were